All right, we are live. Let me lower that down so I don't kill everybody's ears. Maybe up a little bit. And go back into my normal position. Hello. We don't do this often. This is fun.
Yeah.
Hello. Welcome to the Charge On Postgame live show for UCF versus Arizona in a 56-12 victory. I am your host, Sean Green, alongside me, as always, for these postgame live shows, Nick Geddes, Stephen Leonard. This kind of felt normal. A little bit. There was a little bit of normalcy tonight. I guess we'll all give our kind of quick thoughts. Dylan Rizk is him. He is going to be your quarterback for the rest of the season. He's really good. And I know many are going to probably type in the comments, why was Dylan Rizk the fourth quarterback on the roster? We'll get to all that. But this was a fun night. Steven, I'll let you give your thoughts.
Well, it's fun. First post game since September 7th that we've covered a win.
It's been a long time.
So that's nice. Almost 2 months. Tim Harris, great play caller. I know it's his first shot at it. Space game magic, whatever. Great play caller. Great play action calls. Hale Pittman, great play. Dylan Rizk just being Eli Manning was amazing. Defense, Addison Williams defense, 25 rushing yards given, 25 attempts, 5 rushing yards given up. Addison Williams back with a vengeance.
Yeah, Addison Williams. A lot of people talk bad. We'll give him his due tonight. Nick?
You know, I told myself that I was not going to. Well, before I get to that, actually, I guess I have to start believing in this. I don't really buy into the
Voodoo?
The voodoo, really. But there's something clearly that is there's something about the space game where every player that wears black and baby blue and that, like, space gray or whatever they're calling it, like, they just become possessed. They just become possessed. Like, that's what we saw today, and that's what we see. Like, the average margin of score in these space games is, like, 30 point something. It's, like, crazy. And, like, I never bought too much into that. But after today, it's like, how can you not? And I understand the opponent was not great. This is a bad Arizona team. If we're all clear on that, it's a bad Arizona team. But UCF really just kind of took it to them from the beginning of this game. And I'm starting to believe in that. And then, of course, Dylan Rizk taking over as the quarterback. What I was beginning to say was I told myself I would not overreact to anything he did tonight, whether it was bad, good, or indifferent, but I'm going to do that. I'm left with no option. UCF scored 56 points tonight. They scored on like 7 or 8 drives in a row. The offense looked as clean as it has all season long and hasn't even been close. One of the cleaner operations, I'd argue, under Gus Malzahn since he's been here, I thought. I thought that's how good it was. So, yeah, I'm going to go overreact a little bit, but it was a fun day. Unfortunately, like, we knew it wasn't going to be as packed as it possibly could have been in here. That was unfortunate, but for the people that were here today, I mean, hell, it rained. It's kind of identical to what you saw last year in the space game. Like, it's perfect. So it was a good day for everybody that was here.
Season's gone exactly like how it went last year.
To a T. It's scary.
Start 3-0, go on a 5-game losing streak, win your game. Probably, I'm going to guess, win next week, lose the following week, win the Utah game, is my final prediction.
If they somehow make a bowl game, I swear. I mean, that would be the epitome of just, I don't know. We're going to get into it. Luckily, everybody can hear us. I know the sound was a little iffy. We're good on sound. Video's going to go in and out. This is the worst service in the history of service around here. So I can literally see our KPMS or whatever. It keeps going green to red. So you can hear us, but the video might be choppy a little bit. Let's talk about Dylan Rizk. I mean, we'll talk about Dylan Rizk probably for a majority of this post-game live show. I think what's interesting, and it is easy for people to say, why didn't you just play him to start? It's easy to do that because when you have a performance like that and you come in last week and you show something, it's easy for a fan base and it's easy for us to go in and say, Well, why isn't the guy starting? A lot of other factors kind of play into that. Arizona is not a very good football team. Okay? Like, we want to be very clear. Arizona is not a good football team. The only score I can think of that was this bad for them was against BYU, and it was 41.
What was the Colorado game?
34-7.
Okay.
Yeah, the BYU was 41-19.
41-19 for BYU. This is really bad. Like, this was like by far their worst loss of the year. And Dylan showed the most fight out of a quarterback we've seen this year.
He laid a pancake block over there. Got hurt on it, but
Got hurt a little bit. But
I mean, if y'all aren't going to say it, I'm going to say it. He's the kid's got moxie.
that's a dog right there.
He's got moxie just written all over
BJ
him.
Adams was out today, but we still had a dog out there.
we had a dog. Stats for Dylan Rizk. 20 of 25 for 294 passing, 3 touchdowns, and then running 9 carries for 61 yards on the day.
He had a 6-yard sack.
He did have a 6-yard.
Not the little. We'll get to it. The
miscommunication.
yeah.
So here's what I'm going to say. And if I'm Gus Malzahn right now, and I'm looking at the tape and I'm looking at how UCF played this game today, this is exactly why you shouldn't just go get a quarterback because they can run the football. You should get a quarterback because they're the best quarterback for a certain system. You could pass if you can find a quarterback that can pass really effectively and also has the running game. That is when they are effective. That is when a quarterback in this system is most effective. When you get a quarterback just because they can run is when you start 3-5, lose 5 straight, and struggle. I think we learned tonight, and I hope Gus Malzahn learned tonight, the thought process of evaluating quarterbacks and moving forward needs to drastically change because the best quarterback on your roster from what we've seen tonight was the 4th guy. Now, again, I'm not going to give E.J. Colson. E.J. Colson is a true freshman. But as of right now, the sophomore, technically sophomore, but redshirt freshman quarterback is the best quarterback on your roster.
There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. And I kind of said, going into the game, I would have preferred to have seen E.J. Colson start the game and play the rest of the season, but I'm understanding of the fact that maybe there was a conversation between him and Gus about his red shirt, and maybe that's why it's not happening. And so at what point, you had a 5-game losing streak. What do you got to lose? Throw Dylan out there. Let's see what happens. And I said in the pregame, I'm like, I want to see just one of these quarterbacks just sort of just take this position and just run with it. And Dylan Rizk, he just did that in so many different areas tonight. And that was the big difference. I think we all could see it with our eyes is the threat of passing the football. It sounds so simple, but it's so true, and it's for all levels of football. If you cannot pass the football and you're no threat to do it, every defense is clue in on what you can do best, and that's run the football, and that's R.J. Harvey. And it's Dylan Rizk, so he made some really good throws tonight. The throw to goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. We just got
I blame that on Nick.
we just
Sean.
got bombarded with water.
Yeah. That's a sign.
Oh. Bombarded here. Stick with us, folks. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Sean's trying to help us out here because we got waters flowing off the cabanas here.
It's windy.
Yeah, it's a windy night here in the bounce
house. Little bit of rain coming still.
I'm going to keep going, though. But anyway, we saw the best throw of the night, best throw of the year by
to Jacoby
by a UCF quarterback was as Sean wipes off his computer with a cushion. The best throw of the season was tonight, the touchdown to Jacoby Jones for 40 yards down the right sideline. I mean, you could not throw a better ball than that. You really could not. The deep ball he had over here on the left side, on the right sideline on this side, to Kobe Hudson, where he went up and got it, was a big throw. In the 4th quarter, I think he threw one to Randy Pittman, tight window throw. It was awesome. I'm going to ignore what I'm seeing with Sean right now. It's crazy. Trust me, y'all are lucky you don't have to see what I see right now. But the point being is he made so many big-time throws tonight, and that opened up so much for your running game, too. And R.J. Harvey, I don't have the stats exactly in front of me. I think he had, 170 rushing yards, something like that?
Yeah, I think it was 174.
And usually when we've seen R.J. run the ball here in these last few weeks, he gets met right at the line of scrimmage, and it's reliant so much on R.J. to do his thing there and get yards. Tonight, There were so many examples when they ran those RPO plays where RJ was able to run right up the middle of the A-gap, and it was wide open for him. Why is that? Because the box is not stacked because of the threat of the passing game.
Yeah. And I think the scouting report on Dylan Rizk as a high school quarterback, he was a power runner. He won a state championship, mostly based on his ground game. But you saw in the limited throws he had at Cardinal Gibbons, he could make the throws.
Right.
He wasn't making a lot of them, but he could make them. I think that's where you need to see that in a guy like Landon Duckworth in the class of 2026, where he's a guy that can make the throws, but also he can do the stuff on the ground that you need him to do.
Yeah.
Dylan.
I didn't know. I mean, I got to be honest. Like, I know you watched a lot of these guys in high school and everything. Some of the running ability he has, I mean, man.
He's shifty.
You know what I was going to say? He's got like that. How do I word this? He's got like that sneaky white guy athleticism. You know what I mean?
He's got that Baker
yeah,
like running ability.
You know what I mean, though?
He can just like move in a way that you didn't think he could move.
It's very unorthodox.
Yeah.
It doesn't look pretty to the eye, but it's effective. Now, does Dylan Rizk need to manage himself a little bit better and not take as many big hits? Yes. But at the same time, I think when you're a quarterback of a football team, especially a team that's on a 5-game losing streak, when you see this guy come in there and he's taking on hits, late in the fourth quarter, he's handing the ball up to Miles Montgomery right here.
Sprinting past him.
And he's sprinting past Miles Montgomery, who's carrying the football, trying to get into the end zone. He's throwing blocks out. He actually had to come out of the game because he was winded. Like,
he drew 2 late hits.
Like, those are the things that you sort of ingratiate yourself with your teammates and your team, and I think everybody sort of feeds off that. So Dylan Rizk today, I mean, it was as perfect as a performance as you could get. And that's why it's like I said, I wasn't going to overreact to everything, but he played so well that it's hard not to.
Yeah.
Now, is this going to continue? Listen, part of this is Arizona State is going to watch him in the lead up to next week's game. There's film now out on Dylan Rizk. So that's going to be the test.
Probably going to be on the depth chart next week.
Yeah, he was not on the depth chart this week that we saw. He was non-existent on that thing. It was Jakari and EJ. It's probably going to be Dylan's name, but that's what you have to really – that's the only thing left for me to answer is how does he perform now in the next few weeks? Because now we know it's Dylan's job. I think that's clear. But as teams get more film on him, is he going to be able to perform? But for today, this was awesome. Yeah. This was awesome. It was the best offensive performance. I don't count New Hampshire and all that. This was the best offensive performance of the year by far.
Honestly, probably better than New Hampshire and Sam Houston even.
Right. Yeah.
He's Jacoby Jones back-to-back games with 100-plus yards. Jacoby Jones, where was this? Where was this when he was having, like, the early season drops? I think ever since Jakari, EJ, and Dylan got in there, he's become a different player.
Yeah, he became a different player. Kobe made some big plays today. Sean's still having issues with his laptop over here, trying to keep it clean.
Pittman, obviously, with the...
Oh, the Hail Mary.
Well, the Hail Pittman. We're going to call it
the Hail Pittman. I like it.
The one where he Rizk puts it in in between two defenders.
Tight window throw.
Pittman catches it, jukes out a defender, and goes out of bounds. Looking good. Looking like a true wide receiver.
Yeah.
Kylan Fox picking up a big
Fox got his first
yards.
catch, yep.
Third career catch.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Yeah, got 2 in the New Hampshire game, but
yeah, it's amazing what
picking up some big yards.
It's amazing what happens when you have a quarterback who can throw on time, and that was also like the really cool thing that I saw early in Dylan Rizk, and we talked about this a little bit in his little cameo.
Sorry, are you really gonna have the sprinklers turn on right now?
I'm gonna run through this. I'm gonna run through the sprinklers later.
Is my mic like broken?
Oh, it's wrapped around the thing at least. Oh,
go ahead.
We're getting sprayed a little bit.
Is my mic sound bad?
I love how Sean just like cuts me off mid-sentence to like just rant about his issues over here that have nothing to do with us.
I love the Knots win thing on the moon.
I think my mic might be fine, but this is just ridiculous. Can you guys talk?
Yeah, we're coming through. We've been talking.
Okay.
We're talking.
Yeah, we've been doing this the entire thing.
Your levels are bouncing. I think you're good if you want to come back and join us here.
I know. I'm gonna switch our
audio.
Oh goodness gracious.
Oh.
I've got a block. Hello, guys. This is just ridiculous.
We're good. I'm
Nobody
good at
brought
least.
a T-shirt or nothing, and this expensive laptop is getting just doused in water.
I'm fine. It feels nice. RJ Harvey's a great player.
This is the content that people.
He is a great player, Steven. He is a great player. Like I said, enjoy him while you can, UCF fans.
How many receiving yards did he have today? Did he go over 200 total? Can I see this?
Yeah, grab it.
She yanked it.
You ain't lying. See, when we win, you get more entertaining post-game coverage.
Not 22, so because this only goes to 4 players, and Javarius had 22. Actually, at 39, that should be reviewed.
Yeah.
Because the little pop pass, which the pop pass is back. I haven't seen the pop pass since JRP.
I haven't seen the wide receiver screen
since JRP.
Since JRP.
Yeah.
I saw some comeback routes that were successfully completed tonight. That's where I was going with my comment before I was rudely interrupted by Sean. Was Dylan Rizk, what we saw last week in his... But, yeah, when you have the threat of the passing game, it opens up so much, and RJ having a big day. I mean, this is what the offense was supposed to look like. This is what it was supposed to look like, and that's why we had so much fun watching it. And then when we had the Hell Pittman, which was right here.
Yeah. Right on the S.
It was right here on the S. The Hell Pittman, I literally about fell out of my chair in the press box. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what we're watching.
He did the Eli Manning break out of a sack, run around, chuck it.
It was just like when that happened, it was like, yeah, it's just their day.
Great block by Evan Morris on that play.
Great block by Evan Morris on that play to let Dylan Rizk scramble and get some room. But it was just that kind of day. Everything that they wanted, they got in this football game. And that was the singular moment where I believed in the space game magic, the space day voodoo, the space game juju, whatever buzzword you want to use. I became a believer on that play. And how could you not?
Y'all want to come inside? Maybe we can,
I'm having fun in the rain.
Sean doesn't want to get wet.
I mean...
He's tired, so let's just come inside.
Well, we can figure this out.
Well, this is just way too close.
You step back in the middle.
Yeah.
We'll back up a little bit. But
yeah.
It's a lot of rain over here.
God, not a lot of... Very dark over here on this...
Well, yeah, you're underneath the cabana now.
Yeah.
I'm in the bright. I'm...
Well, I wanted to get that up there, but I don't think it's
I just want to be in the bright.
I understand that.
Y'all can see me.
I get that. You guys were carrying it.
To be fair, it's a very pleasant miss. Just come out here.
What's the comments going on? The irony, and this is the space game, and the production is coming apparently from the moon. I don't think it rains on the moon.
Yeah.
It is actually starting to come down.
You don't understand how much water just got on that laptop, and I had to.
Oh, your thing's red now. That's not good.
It's going up and down. Listen.
It can't be helping the fact that it is now raining.
It is definitely just staying in that kind of...
Looks like Houston's going to win against K-State.
Oh, that's great for the Big 12.
Big 12's Chaos League. Colorado likely Big 12 championship out.
Yeah, Steven, you want to read comments?
I have been, yeah. Try Starlink next time.
What is Starlink? The amount of water.
I was very concerned that it was going to get on the audio board. That would have.
It is on the audio board.
Okay.
I just don't know how to. I don't know how to get it. Keep talking. I'm going to move this.
Just keep hitting the comments, Steve.
This is the Steven and Nick show. Sean is just going to be producing from behind for a majority of this.
Yeah, 600 yards. First time since the TCU game, right?
I think it's the first time since the New Hampshire game, actually.
Okay,
they had 500 something against TCU, so today rivaled what they get against New Hampshire, and we're flying up high now.
Sean, you can't get up that high. Just leave it.
I'm gonna move it back.
I think we just got to embrace the
I
element.
love embracing the rain. The players embrace the rain. They turned the sprinklers off. There's not going to be a gust of water.
I'm saying the sprinklers.
I will say, it rained. It rained for a good chunk of this football game today. Okay, it's raining now. Was that really the appropriate time for the sprinklers?
I feel like those sprinklers were timed.
They were, of course, timed. I'm in jest. Somebody did.
Yeah, somebody
did decide to turn them off, but it is what it is. So.
Anyway,
continue hitting some of those great comments there, Steven.
DJ Lagway is probably out for the season, carted off. Not a lot of comments about UCF.
Tough. I know everybody's talking about our rivals
I think
today.
people are happy, so they're just checking out other scores at this point.
I will hit. Zachary Foster said, as the game went on, the commentary team kept blasting Ted Roof, not saying we faced a powerhouse today, but the defense looked at the best it has all year. I guess we haven't really talked much about the defense, so I'll let you start your observations.
I mentioned it in my opening statement. Addison Williams with 25 carries, 5 yards on the ground.
That's pretty good.
That's Addison Williams' defense right there. Not what we saw last. Actually, we saw it towards the end of last year. The run defense was starting to pick up. Gus Malzahn says 6-6 is unacceptable. We need to make changes.
Yep.
Makes the changes, goes back, and I think Addison Williams has proved himself as like at least a competent defensive coordinator. Maybe not a great one, maybe not a good one, but definitely competent.
We'll see if they can keep it up. But
Well,
today was a great start, and it wasn't like if you were to ask me like who was the big individual performer today, like I guess you might say Ethan Barr, because like he seemed to be quicker today. Like we've had some issues with him, sort of with his deficiencies with speed and all those sort of things, and some missed tackles and not being in the right place at the right time. But today it felt like he was on it. He had some juice. He's a team captain. It seemed like he led the way. I said that going in. Your defensive coordinator gets fired. Everybody in that locker room that plays defense probably went, oh crap, now it's on us. There's nobody else. We're the last line of defense now. We got to go out here and perform. They did that today. They got, I think, 4 sacks today. Now, some of those were coverage sacks, but you know what? I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Malachi Lawrence got credited with 2 sacks today. He's a player that has not had the season we were expecting. For just confidence sake, he needed that today.
Lee Hunter, probably another big one. He was flying all. I saw him run down someone from behind. He almost had a pick. He was going crazy. Like you said, the defense kind of playing as one, I think, that's something that I think we haven't really seen this year. We've seen like individual plays be made. We've not seen the defense play as one. Chasen Johnson in his second start looked pretty good.
They were all running to the ball.
The only Tedero McMillan and Christian Hunter were the only 2 Arizona offense players that I noticed making plays.
Yeah, and McMillan had 6 for 84 and a touchdown.
That's bad for him.
Yeah, for McMillan's standards, that's like a meh night. But don't get me wrong, he's still a damn impressive player. The touchdown catch he made just behind us over here, where he juggled it and fought through a PI on Jakari, right?
Yeah.
He did not have his best game today. I think we would agree with that.
Yeah, no.
But regardless, I mean, if you would have told me UCF holds McMillan to 6 for 84, I think you sign up for that.
Yeah, and did we talk about? So we're talking defense.
We talked run defense already.
Did we talk Harris offense?
We have not went to offense.
Great.
Play calling was crazy.
We'll stick with defense really quick, and we'll then switch to offense. I do think, I want to be very careful. We'll talk on our post-game pod releasing tomorrow, kind of in more depth, but we do have to be careful about living in the moment, not being a prisoner of the moment, because it does get very easy to do that, especially after Oklahoma State. We lived in the moment, and then the next week you lose to Texas Tech. So you do have to be careful with what you're seeing here. But in terms of the defense today, what does Addison Williams do very well? Doesn't give up big plays. Now, there was a couple big plays today. Jakari gave up really the one.
They were mostly, though, a lot of the big plays I felt like were there was nobody open initially, or the pass rush was getting home.
Yeah, it broke down after.
It was broken down plays where Fafita, give him credit, he made some really good throws on the run.
The first touchdown was
that's a broken play and a great throw
about
and catch.
to be a sack, and he ends up telling his tight end to go deeper and hits him.
Yeah.
Somebody come on. No, but besides that, Addison Williams called a hell of a game. No, you're good. He called a hell of a game of when to send the blitz, when not to send the blitz. I think he sent blitz at the best times tonight, which, again, you couldn't say that at some points this year. He called a great game. Again, I think the defense, you allowed 12 points, 4 rushing yards.
Yeah.
4. You can't say not to win.
5 rushing yards.
At one point in the fourth quarter, I just sort of looked to my left at the scoreboard, and it said 1.
Yeah, at one point, it was negative 1.
Yeah, at one point, it was -1. And I was
in the fourth quarter.
I was like, whoa. And I mean, listen, they got behind. It was 28-0 at one point.
But I mean, they ran the ball 25 times.
But they still ran, like you said. They ran it 25 times, and UCF had all the answers to the test today for really I guess the second time. I thought they played well in the Cincy game. Probably deserved a better outcome there. But in terms of general performance, this was by far the best they've been.
It's their first complete game.
Yeah, and you could say that last year about Oklahoma State. They came in, you're like, that is the UCF team that we thought we were getting this year.
I'm including the fake games though. This.
Yeah.
They didn't play a complete game early in the season.
No,
even in those New Hampshire game, they struggled in the first half. Sam Houston, they struggled.
No, 100%. But you could even say last year, like, you could say the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, you could say, like, oh, this was the first time UCF played a complete game on all facets of the football.
Yeah.
So, again, we talked about it early. It just feels like deja vu, and it feels like Groundhog Day because we're reliving the same year again. Now, hopefully we don't live it exactly because, again, you lose at Texas Tech the week after the Oklahoma State game. Let's not go. We don't want to lose at Arizona State. And that we got a week to discuss that.
Yeah, and listen, they have a big, like you said, we're going to get into it this week on our preview show. But listen, kind of how Arizona had to travel across country for this game. You got to go travel across country too, which is something that UCF has seldom done probably in its history.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tough challenge next week. But I feel like in general, we should enjoy it. Like, we need to enjoy this. Like, it's been a 5-game losing streak. I think everybody's been looking for something positive to talk about, and tonight you just got given all of it.
We don't know what our opponent next week's going to do yet, because their game is
why I moved.
in a weather delay.
I'm going to move my backpack.
Speaking of weather.
Can you put it on top of this or no?
Oh, that's soaked. Oh, that's soaked. How's my bag doing?
Man, my laptop's in this bag, and my laptop power cord is wide open and exposed.
My bag's not wet, but like I just don't want it to be near the edge anymore.
It's days like this that I kind of wish we had like an extra T-shirt or something to wipe.
Yeah, I didn't bring an extra shirt this time. I'm sorry.
Okay. Let's power
anyway,
through.
Arizona State in a weather delay. They're up 21-14
Yeah.
over
Let's
Oklahoma
talk
State.
Tim Harris Jr.
Yeah.
Let's talk Tim Harris Jr. because, Gus gives over play calling duties, to which we discussed, and we said, you're really setting him up for failure. This offense hasn't performed well all year. You're setting him up with an offense that hasn't been able to really do anything well.
QB making his first start.
You're just a lot of first in a lot of stuff that is just negative for a new play caller. But I'll say this: there's a paper like flying. What a game! He called, and it's easy to say in a 56-12 win, but you saw wide receiver screens. You saw jet sweeps that actually worked. You saw deep passes called that actually worked and were good calls. You saw a balance between the run and the pass. It does help when you have a quarterback that can pass. I think this was the right move. I like what I see. I want to see more. But I think this just gives Gus that little extra bit of, again, trying to be a CEO in today's college football and letting a guy like Tim Harris get the opportunity to run this offense.
Well, I think the big thing, too, is I think it gives confidence to all the guys on offense that, hey, we can do this. Like, it's capable. We've done it now. We just showed everybody that we are capable. Again, we know the opponent's not great. But they went 5 games in a row during that losing streak, excluding the 1-yard touchdown by R.J. Harvey against Iowa State, of scoring 21 points or less on offense, and you explode today for 52 and made it look really easy. Like, that's the big thing. Like, you got confidence. Because a lot of these plays you're mentioning, Sean, it's not like we haven't seen these plays called this year. The execution's just been very poor, and a lot of it has come down to, at least the plays in the passing game, is you just haven't had a quarterback who's been able to execute, and today you did. And so that's the difference, really, what you saw today. It's all execution. I feel like that's what football is. It's about execution, and they did that today.
I think some of his best play calls might go a little bit unnoticed. I think losing the stats.
It's all going crazy.
The best play call I think he had was I think it was a big RJ run, or like it was a big play. They go hurry up. Dylan throws a seam to Pittman. He misses him, but it would have been a touchdown if he executes it. And then to go with a play action pass. On 1st and goal from the 1-yard line, when no one's expecting you to go with a pass play, everyone's expecting the ball to go to Miles or Johnny actually was in the game at the time. You go with the play action pass. I think he's proved that he's a gutsy play caller as well.
All right, let's read some of your comments.
This is
crazy. Okay. I'm surprised we haven't been getting a lot of comments about what we're dealing with here.
We are getting a lot of comments about what we're dealing with, but Offense looked good on finally converted on third down. Offense did. Defense getting off the field on third and fourth down.
That was great.
Let's talk about it.
Also, Louis Aaron, Sean
not going to talk
saying,
about it.
What?
The defense getting off.
Well, it's like everything was good tonight.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I was
the bad
posting the
things.
Addison Williams smiling picture.
You were
That's my guy.
you were spreading propaganda.
I love
all
bro.
day on Twitter. You were calling somebody. Who'd you call? Jacoby Jones, DK Metcalf? Like
I did, but that was a pro comp. That was like the.
You said that Kobe Hudson was Randy Moss.
He
2.0.
He mossed.
Like you were putting out some major propaganda.
Hey
today
man,
on Twitter.
we were having fun.
We were having fun.
We were having fun. Space game. We were having fun. Rain. We're having fun. The rain's going in circles now, and I don't know what that means. Because that typically means that's like a worse storm.
There's like a tropical system that's just
Houston
forming on the field right now.
24-19, so K-State loses.
UCF wins the game, and then
Louis Aaron says,
force.
Sean has been saying all year that these receivers don't belong at the P4 level. Does that still hold up after this game? I don't think I've ever said these receivers don't hold up. We have said.
I will be the first one to admit that I have said it.
He said it.
I have said it.
And do we really think these, or is it one receiver that tonight and the last couple weeks has kind of shown that you are drenched?
I'm chilling.
Listen, let me explain this. As the season wore on, and especially the last few games, it became clear to me for us watching that the receivers were getting open. There were plays that were to be made, and like we mentioned, quarterbacks just weren't finding them, and those plays were just going by the wayside. Last week when Kobe Hudson got hurt, Jacoby Jones came onto the field, and we really had seldom really seen much of Jacoby Jones, probably because when we saw him at the beginning of the year, he faced some drops issues, just really didn't look like an impact, okay? But he came in for Kobe Hudson last week, and he led the team in receiving. He seemed to fix some of his drops issues, and he kind of looked explosive a little bit. And so you found, like, hey, there's something to work there. I was curious with Kobe playing today, was Jacoby now going to be out of the game, or were they going to put both of them out there? Well, they put both of them out there. And Jacoby Jones, once again, back-to-back 100-yard games for him. So, listen, I can only make the judgments based on what we had seen. Today, Jacoby Jones looked like that kind of guy to the point where I was asking you, I'm like, does the guy have any more eligibility left? Because
he does. He has 1 year.
He has one more year as far as we know. Outside of Jacoby Jones and Kobe Hudson, who's leaving, I still will probably...
I think Chauncey Magwood has shown some flashes. He's gotten open.
But
he's gotten open. Maybe he hasn't gotten the ball.
I'll still stand by my comment outside of those. I'll add Jacoby up to that tier for these two games.
Well, I mean, Javen Boggs, watching that FSU performance, probably pretty happy.
I know you're not watching, but...
Pretty happy if he checks his phone.
Iowa State lost.
Yep, we were aware. We already said that.
I'm sorry. I was dealing with stuff.
No, we're holding it down, bud.
Yikes. Okay, so let's go to a couple of your comments. Tyler, we're 9 games in and Boone doesn't know the book. Seems like maybe something else, but that's just me.
Where's this coming from, this whole, Penny Boone doesn't know the playbook thing?
I think that's just a cope thing that a lot of fans... Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why he's not playing.
He practices well. He plays on special teams.
Plays on special teams, but...
He's a team player. I don't know.
I mean,
I think you have 2 running backs that are, and then you have Johnny who's super fast.
Right.
So
it's hard to rotate 4 guys in, especially when you get to conference play. And you kind of have to ride RJ as best you can.
Because you can't take RJ and Miles out and then be like, all right, we're gonna cool you down to get Penny some touches.
Right.
It's not really your first option. You're not.
No, when you have a running back like RJ Harvey,
down.
You think, does Ashton Genty come out of the football game much? No.
I will say our connection's been great. I've been noticing our connection.
It's picked up since the conditions have gotten worse.
Yeah, so it's almost like for the connection to be good, we have to be miserable. So, but
who is miserable?
We are. We are fine.
Yeah, you guys haven't had to move. I've had to be behind
we've been in the rain.
I might be miserable when I try to
turn the laptop
when I try to turn my laptop on
my laptop
tomorrow.
got so much water, and I'm like, and it is going like a champ. So shout out. I'm not going to shout out Apple, but I guess shout out Apple for my laptop being wet and keep going.
Shout out Dylan Gabriel for basically securing the Heisman.
Yeah, good for Dylan Gabriel. Okay, let's go back to our game.
Let's talk about the better Dylan.
The better Dylan.
The better Dylan.
The risky Mr. Dylan.
Yeah,
the correctly spelt Dylan.
The correctly spelt Dylan, who wears number 10. And again, back to this whole voodoo thing and the magic. There's something with this number 10, man. There's something with this number 10.
To DR?
There's something to this number 10. I don't know.
DRZ?
DRZ, I don't know.
Listen, how long have we been going for? What time is it?
I don't know, man.
Almost an hour.
About 40.
an
We're
hour,
about 45 minutes in.
Listen,
Georgia beat Florida.
Georgia beat Florida
By 14.
Of course. All right, so let's talk. And listen, I don't want to ruin the fun, and I really don't.
But you're going to.
Okay.
Zachary Foster said last 3 games, perfect. You know, Zach, perfect comment for what I was going to then talk about. Zachary Foster said last 3 games winnable. Arizona State the hardest, but they really struggle in the passing and receiving game. Okay. There's 3 games left. You're 4-5. Do you win 2 out of the 3 to get to a bowl game? Do you win 2 out of the 3? Now,
Yeah, yeah.
you think so?
I think they beat West Virginia and Utah.
Okay.
It's got to be West Virginia or Utah.
I think they can beat Arizona State. They need a lot of UCF people to promote Cam Scatabo propaganda and say
Harvey
he's
just
better than
fine.
RJ Harvey.
Yeah.
So if you want to go tweet, Cam Scatabo is the best running back in the conference.
Yeah, just do
just
that.
to make RJ mad. You almost stuck your head right into that, bud.
Well, I was actually going to say we should go right here and do it, so we're out of the rain, but then we would just
Sean probably would have said nothing else, and he would have turned off the stream. That would have been it.
What's Florida's record?
Florida?
Yeah.
They're actually not bad.
What are they?
They-
4-4.
Okay. They're 4-4 after today, or
Yeah,
they're 4-5?
4-4 after today.
Okay. So someone said 8-5 season. We beat UF in rematch bowl game. I don't know if Florida gets to a bowl game. They don't have a lot of.
No.
They
No,
don't have
they
a
got-
lot of.
Their season's done. They just lost their quarterback.
Yeah, DJ Lag.
They got Texas, Ole Miss.
I love Winter Park High School. I want to point this out. Aiden Warner is not the guy that you want to have leading you into the SEC.
No.
He's a redshirt freshman, walk on. Like he's a great kid, and I think he can be great in the future. Just probably
not this year.
Not right now. Not as a redshirt freshman.
No. And so no, like listen, I'm still gonna say that UCF does not make a bowl game. I don't think it. Like I think you have winnable games here in the next 3. I'm gonna hold my pride or my. I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Because when you get ahead of yourself, that's when you get most hurt. And this team has hurt me a lot.
Listen, I'm going to agree with you. I'm not going to suddenly.
Can you win the 2 out of 3? Yes, there are winnable games. Utah, I think, is probably, in my opinion, the most winnable, just because they don't have any bit of an offense,
And it's at home.
Yep. So you kind of feel like
They do have.
that's the most
They do
winnable
have.
They
game.
have a running game.
They still have the best defense of the teams you're going to play, and it's still, I think, like top 15 nationally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a test, but. To your point, like I just want to enjoy today, and like I said, like I made the jokes about I'm going to overreact about everything, and I think I've done a good job of doing that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a lack of trust. There's a lack of trust.
Yeah.
This is going to carry over. I think that's a fair reaction to have. They have to show me. Listen, on Thursday's show, Sean, I was as negative as I think I've ever been around the program since Gus Malzahn has been here. And so I don't lose sight of I stand by everything I said on Thursday's show. This game doesn't change anything that I had said. But, let's see what happens from here. To me, it's always about the follow-up.
No, I get it. I was getting asked by people to like, who are some names that UCF would be looking at? So I put out a hot board earlier this week. Like,
Yeah,
the
that's
negativity
where
around the
we were.
program is very heavy.
Yeah.
I think the negativity around Arizona's program is heavier, and you ran into a team like that, so you're going to need to show us.
You beat
next
the worst
week.
team. This was the battle of suck. We said that on last week's.
Arizona's not the worst team in this conference.
Well,
Respect Utah.
Utah. Okay.
Clearly, it's not Houston anymore.
Yeah,
It's not.
Houston. No, but like we said this on the postgame live show last week. We said that next week is the battle of suck. Who's going to be the suckiest? Who's going to come out and break their streak?
The suckiest.
And UCF proved that they are far and superior, better than Arizona tonight. Is that just space game lore? Maybe. But it still matters, and it still happened. Now you have to move forward. And I think the only difference that gives me a little confidence is Gus Malzahn is not calling the plays. It is Tim Harris Jr. calling the plays. It is not KJ Jefferson running the offense. It's Dylan Rizk, who has proven that he can throw the football. If Dylan Rizk throws the football like he did tonight, you open up the offense. You make the UCF offense dangerous again. And that's what gets me excited. That's what gives me a sliver of hope for these last 3 games, because let's just go crazy here. We were negative. Let's try and go positive. If Dylan Rizk goes and wins the next 3 games, and as a starter goes 4-0, the outlook of the season, you go from doom and gloom, this season sucked,
we're going to win 3 games.
We're going to go 3-9 to we just found UCF starter next year.
And
we won 8 games.
And you win 1 game more than you did last year.
Well, you have a chance to go 8-5. Yeah.
So, and what did we talk about?
And you're probably
we're hyper positivity right now.
Right, and you're not going to go into the portal to get a quarterback. That would be completely off the table.
I don't think they would anyway.
You have an incumbent and a young kid that you want to look
and
at.
a guy that is going to potentially come in behind him.
And also to try to be optimistic, like I don't think scoring 56 points is not realistic again. But if you can have
if you could score 35
if you could have half of this performance tonight, I would argue the next 3 teams you're going to face don't have that in their back.
Because what did Dylan have? 4 like passes that you're like, he probably wish he had those back.
Yeah, and you're not. I mean, you're not going to
know about that.
You're not always going to have a Hail Mary either.
The Kobe slant. That was
the Kobe
bad.
slant.
The deep ball, but you can't really count that.
And then the seam. So probably 3.
But the deep ball, that was miscommunication between him and the receiver.
Okay, no, that was a deep ball that he threw 2 seconds into the. That's.
Yeah, but I think he was also expecting somebody like.
No one's getting there though.
No,
that's the issue.
I 100% get it, but it was early enough in the game where I'm not like looking.
You
at
can
that
shake
as,
that off as I thought that's what was getting like called
and also,
here. It's my first game.
Yeah, like so really 2 out of your 25 balls, and if you want to include that 3 out of your 25 that were just like, okay, those aren't good.
Yeah.
Compared to what we were getting,
yeah,
where it's like every throw, like
if you can get
the
it
throw
down.
to Kobe on that, like towards the back right pylon over here, he overthrew him just by like a hair.
Yeah.
We were talking in the press box. Jakari would have thrown that 10 yards over.
Yeah.
So it's like, for us, you found a quarterback. And listen, I think if you've seen the clip, SJ Tui at one point was on a podcast and how Mikey Keene went and beat Florida, and they were like, we just beat the Florida Gators with Mikey Keene. And SJ Tui said, could that be the can that be the guy? And Gus is like, no, we need an upgrade. I get where most people will look at this and say Gus is going to try and look at an upgrade. Dylan Rizk has a ceiling, maybe, but for right now. And in the near future, this kid looks like he's developed a lot over these first 2 years. To come in this spot, space game, 4th quarterback on the depth chart coming into the season, gets leapfrogged by the 17-year-old, high school kid, and then to come in and have the performance like you do here, I think gives me a lot of confidence with Tim Harris Jr. calling plays that this team could potentially win 3 games. I'm not assuming they will, but it gives me confidence that they could.
I personally think that Gus Malzahn has enough confidence in, say the season's going great at the end. Dylan wins the last 4, I guess now, if you factor in a bowl game.
Yeah.
I think you think you have Dylan, and you also have your guy that you want to be the quarterback of the future. Because it's clear that they do want EJ at some point to be the quarterback of the future. They're handling his red shirt well. They're not trying to make the same mistakes they've made in the past.
But it's very obvious you can't he's your guy right now.
Yeah,
and he showed you a lot more. Than what Jakari showed you in his first start in terms of a complete game.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I think there's confidence that they wouldn't have to go to a portal guy because they have both the guy that they want right now and the guy that they want in the future.
Yeah,
I'll say that all this stuff is going to work itself out.
Also, can we stop comparing him to Mikey? He is 6'2". He is a big boy.
No, and I'm not comparing him to Mikey. I'm just saying
No, I've seen not you, fans and stuff.
Oh, okay.
He's not a similar stature. He's a big bruiser.
He plays a very different brand of football.
He's a power runner.
As I was saying, all this is going to work itself out. But I will say, on a personal note to Dylan Rizk himself, I think he's immediately become the biggest story of the season. I really do. I'm sure there's some other ones out there, and maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment. But you guys just kind of went through it. This guy was the 4th-string quarterback to start the season. He was leapfrogged by a guy who should be in high school right now. 2 transfer quarterbacks were brought in. Dylan Rizk, for all intents and purposes, probably came into this year saying, well, unless there's a bunch of injuries,
I'm gone.
I'm not touching the field, 1, and B, I'm probably going to be in the transfer portal next year. And here we sit in game 9. It's the space game, which obviously means a lot to so many around this university. And he gets the shot to come in here basically one of those things where it's like, F it, let's see what he has. And to put out that performance, because again, you guys picked apart, or not picked apart, but you guys brought up, 2 throws or something like that. Outside of that, Dylan Rizk had an A performance today.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's incredibly hard to do.
I was
how
saying
many
he doesn't even need to have that good of a performance.
Exactly, but how many 4th-string quarterbacks across the country that are capable of coming in and doing what Dylan Rizk did today?
How many UCF quarterbacks are capable of doing that?
Correct. There's none. Right.
So it's gotten to the point where you see a performance like that, and again, you try not to be prisoner of the moment, but that's how a UCF offense is supposed to look. A guy that can throw, a running game that is lethal.
Yeah.
It was balanced. And that's why, Arizona, we knew coming in. Arizona, they had a lot of injuries on defense coming into the season. They've had to switch up how they play defense midway through. They're not good right now. They're not a good defense.
Also, they targeted their best player. UCF, Rizk was targeting Takario Davis.
He didn't care.
Did not care. Hit the Kobe Hudson bomb over him. Hit the Jacoby Jones. And Jacoby Jones drags Takario Davis 20 yards.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying.
They went after their best players.
They did not care. And what was so lethal about today, and again, I get it's against a bad defense, you still won by, 44 or whatever?
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, they went against their best players. They were balanced enough to be able to throw the ball, be able to run the ball, and they didn't know what they were going to run. They didn't know. And guess what? You didn't ever feel like Dylan was going to run the ball. So as a defender, I'm like, he's not going to run the ball. And when he did, it made it so much more lethal. That big run where he juked out 2 people, it's like, you don't expect him to run because he's not a runner.
But this is the thing. You mentioned, they didn't know.
But he's not.
I get
you get what I'm saying.
I get he can throw the ball too, so you're worried about.
He is a thrower first, but he can run. It's not I need to go find a running quarterback like John Wright's and hope he develops a pass game.
Yeah, he's a guy that can hit the throws that he needs to hit already.
And so really, like I said, the next thing we have to see with Dylan Rizk, like I said, was tonight was great. He played an A game. Now, again, Arizona State's going to watch this film tonight, and they're going to break down what their rival did not do well against him and what they were missing. Arizona State's a much better team than Arizona is, and so that game's going to be on the road. It's going to be cross-country, so that's the next step now. We have to see what the follow-up is. We have to see how good Dylan Rizk looks with some film on him. Again, it's probably not going to look like it did tonight, but if we got half of the offensive performance tonight, we would still feel good about it.
So I was just about to say, was at home, first game starting, now he goes on the road. Steven, where did he go to high school?
Dylan Rizk?
Yeah.
Cardinal Gibbons.
Where's Cardinal Gibbons?
South Florida.
Okay.
Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, cool. Good to know. Don't they travel though?
They do travel. He has played in the state of Arizona.
That's what I was. Okay.
Or at least he's played a team from Arizona.
Okay, that's what I was thinking because I'm pretty sure I remember seeing he's played in Arizona before.
He's played in Nevada. He's played out there.
He's played out there. So I think the big test, you mentioned it, is going to be, can he go on the road and have just a B+ performance? If you can go out and not turn the ball over.
Give me a C performance. I haven't seen that out of a UCF
C performance would be
since until tonight.
But that's what I'm saying. We are prisoner of the moment, or I am being.
It's
hard. So hard to look at that performance
to.
And be like,
he had
can't
a near
replicate
perfect performance.
He had a near perfect performance against a bad team. But you do have, and it's not Gus Malzahn. If Gus Malzahn was calling the plays, I would be like, well, we're going to Texas Tech next week. You know what I get.
Yeah.
It's Texas Tech all over again.
Yeah.
But it's not. I have a lot of confidence
and we can at least say too, you could probably say with the changes that were made this week, again, that's a wake-up call to everybody in the building. And I thought they came up with juice today. Even when before the game started, I even made a note to tell y'all. I said, well, the crowd kind of seems a little not into it to start the game. But you know what? I looked down at the sideline, and, man, the players looked ready to roll.
Yeah, they were.
They looked ready to roll.
I forget which player. I think it was one of the Hendersons was on the sideline getting into it before the game, dancing to the music.
Right.
The players looked good, juiced. They had an interesting thing before the game. They didn't have to wear, most of the time they're all in that polo. They let them do free, whatever they wanted to be. They played free tonight.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't play rigid.
They did, and again, I'll be the first one to admit, if you listened to the show this past week, if you listened to the pregame show earlier today, I didn't pick UCF to win this game.
I didn't either.
I did not either.
I did not pick UCF to win this game. I did not see this coming.
I picked them to lose by 1. I thought it was going to be close. I didn't see this coming.
No.
Let's read a couple comments. RTax84Z, glad they were able to use Brown's running ability in the game. Wow, what a shocker. You use the running quarterback in the red zone where you don't know if they're going to hand it off or if he's going to keep it. They did that perfectly twice. The first one, Brown kept it, ran it in for a touchdown. The second time they brought him in, I think it was Miles that got the touchdown.
Yeah.
That he again, the defense collapsed on Jakari thinking, oh, Jakari's going to run the ball because that's what UCF usually does because with the Wildcats, RJ Harvey always keeps it, and he gave it to Miles for the touchdown. So
then they did it again on 4th and 1. He kept it, gets to the 1 yard line.
So it's like, use him there. I think Tim Harris tried a little bit of let's see if we can throw him out there on the 32-yard line.
He fumbled, recovered it himself.
He did, but I think that was the give me a play. Let me see let's try it. Okay, didn't work. Jakari, come off the field. Dylan, bring your butt back out there. So I'm okay with it. He called the near perfect game, and putting Jakari in those moments, I'm fine with. It again, gives your offense another level. You don't have to, I don't think Dylan is going to beat anybody with 5 yards in the red zone. He could, but I don't think he's going to be able to run past these guys.
He needs to tuck that football, too. He's holding the football out with 2 hands.
That was a baller move.
That was a baller move.
But
you got to tuck the ball.
That was hilarious. He just
he was pretending like he was pitching, and I was like, it was
like semi Mahomes-esque the way he does all the time. He was feeling it, man.
He was feeling it.
He has moxie. He has moxie. And why do we use the word moxie to describe Dylan Rizk?
Because he's got moxie. He's got moxie.
That's not what we said up there, but okay.
He's got moxie.
Continue.
Because he wears the number 10.
Sure, we'll go with that.
That's number 10. Michael Woolley, space game magic and nothing else. This exposes Gus' ineptitude more than a loss would, to be honest. This has nothing to do with Gus. This has everything to do with the coordinators that were calling this game. Gus Malzahn was doing everything but that. He was making sure the players that needed to be in the game were in the game. He was making sure if he needed to call a timeout, he was calling the timeout.
Was making good timeouts, too.
He was making perfect timeout calls. Called a timeout when the defense needed a break.
Managed the 1 minute drill to get that Hail Mary.
Listen, I barely even noticed Gus Malzahn today, and I mean that in
a good way.
Well, the 1 minute drill, that was the only time I noticed him. He was great. Well, there was one other time I noticed him, but I'm gonna leave that alone.
Yeah.
It was a bad play.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, this was
Trent.
Yeah, and I liked Gus getting at him
That's the first time I've seen Gus get at Trent that for that. And
well, yeah, I mean the guy's punting from the damn G in the end zone.
It was a 71-yard punt.
Boots it all the way to the 18-yard line down the field.
No, he boots it to the 45.
Yeah, but it rolls
to the 18-yard line.
Trent Whittemore's like.
So no, I get it. I get Gus. I think ineptitude is a great word to describe Gus Malzahn this season at many times. Tonight is not one of them. He made the right move giving up play calling duties. He gave it to the right person. I know a lot of people were like, give it back to Hinshaw. I think we need to see what Tim Harris can do as the offensive play caller. He proved that he can call a near flawless game. And I think Addison Williams proved tonight that with this defense, he can call another good game. But this is not on Gus. Gus, it might just be the space game magic. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you.
Speaking
this team is not good. They're not.
I'm going to be honest. I think last year was more a reflection on the Jimmies and Joes than the X's and O's on defense. Because I think they were in the right positions last year.
By the way, speaking of the space game, I think the uniforms look
so sick on the field.
Someone commented
films.
The unis looked for this game looked sharper on the field than in the promotion video.
Okay.
I personally thought they looked good in the promotional video.
See, I was the opposite. In the promotional video, when I saw the uniforms, I thought they were kind of meh. That was for me, and I said that this week. But then I saw them on the field, and I was like, okay, they look a lot better in person. They look a lot better in person.
Yeah, no, they definitely looked a lot better. I got to be on the field a little bit pregame, just to kind of make sure Rizk was actually going to start, see what the vibe was around the team. And I got to see them on the field. They looked amazing.
I do appreciate too. I was obviously we're on Twitter during the entirety of the game. I love shout out to the fans who were on top of their meme game tonight. And I don't know if you saw him, the Dylan Rizzler.
I saw that before the game.
I saw somebody put Dylan's face
on the Rizzler. Yeah.
On the Rizzler. It was Dylan Rizzler.
Italian dudes from South Florida. Stand up.
Celebrities.
Actually,
influencers.
Rizk from New Jersey. I forgot that. He's not part of that family. Big Justice, though.
Regardless, both of them are influencers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought, again, as we're about to wrap up here, obviously, But yeah, I thought if there's any more comments there you want to hit, of course, hit those. But again, it was as perfect as a day as you could get here inside the bounce house, and we had been sort of waiting for this. So
There's a couple comments. I wanted to-
My point is, if he did all of this sooner, we would have a much better record. I get that, but I talk to people like at practice and stuff. I know some
nobody was thinking put Dylan Rizk
I think
in.
I've seen like one or two people be like, "Oh, Dylan Rizk is the best thrower of the football." No one I had talked to had said he was the best thrower of the football in practice.
Yeah.
But they did say he and EJ were clearly the best two.
Yeah.
sometimes you just never know until you get into the game.
No,
you,
and
you
I
just
think
never know.
he's also just
Some guys are great practice players.
number 10 being a gamer. That makes sense. JRP was a gamer. KZ was a gamer.
Let's just rattle them all off. We already said Moxie. Now let's say gamer. Let's
I mean,
rattle all of them off.
every word that you can
Sneaky
describe.
athletic.
Yeah, sneaky athletic. I guess I started it. I'm the one who said he had sneaky white dude.
No, you're the
athleticism.
one that said it up there with the Moxie comment.
I did. I'm guilty. It's me. It's me.
I wanted. Caden Carter said Dylan is still so young too. I would take an up and down season with him over a total bust on a portal quarterback. No, and that's the thing. I think regardless of what happened with Dylan or not with Dylan, there was no way that I don't think that there was any way that next season Gus and staff would go after a portal quarterback. I think after the
Maybe
season, they
a backup or
but
a veteran leader for because you have a young room next year.
I can't in good faith do the whole Gus Malzahn had the best quarterback as the fourth string to start the season, and so
No one knew that,
I
so-
can't in good faith make that argument. I know it's an easy target to make, and listen, if somebody's going to criticize Gus Malzahn, it usually is going to be me at the moment, but I can't in good faith make that argument because nobody around this program, and I mean nobody in their right mind, would have told you at the beginning of the year that Dylan Rizk is the best quarterback on the roster and that there's this secret ability there. I'm glad that we're seeing it.
Yeah.
And it took so many different things that are very unusual to have a chance to see it.
Yeah.
But nobody was saying that at the beginning of the year, so I feel it's not a good faith argument.
Well, I'll say this. Atiba Oxley said, just a couple weeks ago, I said give Rizk a try and was basically shut down by the panel expert. Keep giving Rizk the ball.
Okay. I feel bad
Atiba?
for that.
Atiba,
I'm gonna apologize. I
credit.
shouldn't have shut you down. They should have.
He automatically just assumed he was the panel expert. That's
Well,
crazy.
I am the person that shut him down.
Well,
so
to be
I'm-
fair,
there you
I
go,
knew
man.
that Dylan Rizk's name never came out of my mouth until last week. So.
No, and we honestly probably did say okay, let's calm down because nobody in their right mind.
Last week was against second and third stringers. Today was against starters.
Yes.
I still want to see more, but I didn't think he had this in him. I
was gonna say,
blown
if
away.
this is his, because you mentioned what's his ceiling. If this is his ceiling,
we're fine.
But
I mean,
is this because I think players have a ceiling and then they'll have just an
yeah, we
they'll
gotta
break that for
find
one or
out.
two
We gotta
games.
find out what the floor is.
We have to find out what a floor is. We have to find out what a ceiling
Yeah,
is.
But
that's-
can I be honest?
Because the ceiling's not your
With
best
a
performance.
with
I
a
don't
passer
think.
like that, with
where you are
his pass,
consistent.
I don't think we ever viewed him as we said he's probably one of the best passers, if not the best
Yeah,
passer.
we always thought he was
So
going
with
to
the
be
floor
accurate.
with one of those type of passers is such a higher floor than what you get with a guy that just can't physically pass the football.
Like Nick was saying, you could get in a situation where he's anticipating throws too much and gets into an interception trouble.
100%. And he's shown
But
that he does that a couple
that's the
times.
floor that
Yeah.
you're worried about. But it's happiness.
But
He
here's
gives
the
you a
thing.
chance.
It's happy
he gives
season.
you a
Here's the
chance on
thing.
offense to go score however quick you want.
Yeah.
If you need to go score in a minute, you feel like
they
you can
scored in a minute.
You can hit a deep pass.
And
or a
here's
Hail
the thing
Mary.
too. Dylan Rizk is a redshirt freshman. He's 19 years old. He's right around there.
Maybe 20.
19, maybe 20. He's going to get better.
Yeah.
It's different than a guy like KJ Jefferson or a guy like Jakari Brown even.
Yeah.
Who's 21 years old. It's you're asking yourself, okay, what is for Jakari, for example, what is his ceiling? Well,
Probably where he's at.
close
Yeah.
or right at where he's at.
Yeah.
And so it's really not worth it at that point. With Dylan, clearly there's some untapped stuff here that we need to see.
So, final three comments before we close out this long Charge On Postgame live show, but we're going to soak it in as long as we possibly can.
trust me, we're soaking in it.
The Nick and Steven show.
Well, I got a good back half of it. I've been on here for a good chunk.
I think we probably had at least half of the show by ourselves.
No, you were on for a good 10 minutes by yourselves, though, because I had to do some major cleanup on aisle behind all of us. All right, a couple comments. Rodrigo Campos. What's crazy is if Gus hadn't been calling plays, Ted Roof wasn't here, and we played like this, we'd be 6-3 for sure. I know that you are probably being sarcastic, but I understand where you're coming from. And he said we only lost Cincy by 6 in other close games. It is so easy. It is. It is very easy to do the what if game when a season's gone the way that it's gone. What if Dylan Rizk started from game 1? What if you didn't hire Ted Roof and hired another up-and-coming, defensive coordinator that kind of turned your defense around? What if you just had Tim Harris calling the plays from game 1? It is very easy to say that, especially with some of the games you lost, right? Yeah. Losing by 3 to Iowa State in a game you should have won if you just got one more first down. Losing to Cincinnati by 6 in a game that if you just had any offense, you win easily. That's all easy to say. What we can only say now is if UCF finishes the season strong, you somehow, and I never thought I'd be saying this after the 5 weeks that we've had where it's been absolutely miserable. If you somehow finish the season strong, you have a little bit of hope heading into next season, where next season looked like we're going straight down to hell and somebody's getting fired at the end of it, and it's going to get way worse before it gets better. I think Gus Malzahn made the right decision, and I think you're now looking at a final 3 games, potentially 4, where you're looking into next season and saying this team could take that next jump, which is like 8 wins. But
I want to stick with Rodrigo. He also said guys' Rizk ceiling can't be his very first collegiate start. It can. It can, though. Because look up Jeff Sims. He was a true freshman, and against FSU had his best game. Hank Bachmeier.
DJ Uangalele.
Yeah.
Clemson, Notre Dame.
Yeah, there's a lot of examples.
It went downhill from there.
Do I think that's his ceiling? No.
I mean, that's probably his. It was about a perfect game.
Well, I mean,
it's hard to have a better game than that.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't think he could play better than that.
No, but it's hard to.
I don't think many players.
I get what Rodrigo is saying though. Like, it is hard to say, oh, that's his ceiling. Like, he could have a different.
He could, except
right now, I don't see him.
He's saying it can't be his ceiling, and that.
No, it very well could.
It very well could.
Very well could.
He also played his lights out and wasn't. I don't know.
He played with the confidence that not many people.
I don't know if Arizona was expecting him to start, because there's a lot of UCF people that I know that are well informed that didn't know that didn't really think he was going to start until today.
See,
here's the thing. I didn't know anything going in. Usually I reach out to you.
But even then, what film are you going on with Dylan Rizk even coming in? Even if you had...
you go against the BYU backups.
Yeah, even if someone said, hey, Dylan Rizk is starting, you have 6 days to prepare.
Or you go in his high school film, which
probably irrelevant
one is 2 years ago, and also he's more of a running quarterback then.
Right. Yeah, but you can look at it. But here's the thing, and this is where, again, we're going to wrap this up, but you can look at his film all you want. You can look at his tendencies, you can look at all that. At the end of the day, UCF has a quarterback that can pass the football. And that's
but you can look at his tendencies. That's what I'm saying.
You can look at his tendencies, but call it like it is. He was not looking at one guy and throwing to the first guy he saw.
Yeah.
He was looking at all his different reads. Teams will be able to definitely tell certain tendencies by him, but usually college teams, if the quarterback can beat you throwing the ball, usually he beats you throwing the ball. There's not many teams that can come in and just take you away completely if you can throw the ball effectively. And playing a team like UCF, when you have a running back like R.J. Harvey, who is a top 3 player in UCF's, I was going to say entire history. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think that's crazy to say.
I don't think it's absolutely insane. I would say top 5, guaranteed.
I mean, in terms of college career, he's just
in terms
great.
Of importance to the 2 teams that he's played on here?
Yeah, top 3.
But then again, some of the other players...
Without R.J. Harvey on
these 2 players did not
Dante,
play on...
Shaquem,
well,
KZ,
that's what I was thinking.
Blake.
Yeah. Blake. He's definitely top...
Kevin Smith.
Top 10.
Yeah, definitely top 10.
We'll talk about that after the season. But...
Be an off-season combo.
Yeah, we'll look at the legacy.
But when you have a guy like that behind a quarterback that can pass the ball, it does put defenses in a really tough position okay, what do we do here?
We can't stack the box
We can't stack the box on RJ we can't stack the box like Colorado is doing. We can't stack the box like all these teams do because they have a quarterback that can actually pass the ball now. And that's where, you do look at it and you're like, damn, if only these quarterbacks that played could pass, that stinks. Now you do.
Yeah.
So the outlook of the whole season changes, the outlook moving forward changes. And to all the Gus haters, I feel you, I understand you, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. All right, final thoughts as we close out a great night. Great night. Nick, I'll let you go first.
You said great night. I thought it was a perfect night. The space game, again, I'm a believer. I'm a believer.
Sing it.
I'm a believer. I don't even know the other words, to be honest with you.
Not a trace. Dun, 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 dun.
Javen Bogus has been liking my tweets, by the way, from FSU. So that's where we're at.
I mean, I wouldn't want to watch that
Javon, if you're
horrid
watching-
play either.
I can't pay you physical money.
Dylan Rizk liked it was written in the stars tweet.
Can we get Dylan Rizk on the pod this week?
Probably not on the pod.
Maybe not on. Can we get him on the bye week?
Maybe.
Yeah, let's try to get him on the bye week.
I'll ask.
Yeah, like and we'll make it a nice like chill
Yeah,
relaxing.
we won't
bye.
ask again.
Win or lose next week, I don't care. Like let's try to do that.
Like he's just our guy.
Yeah.
See, exclusive. Not saying it's gonna happen, but could.
Yeah.
Um.
We'll try to make it happen.
Yeah. Sorry, we just like completely took over your final thought.
Oh.
I mean, it's no big.
We started singing and
you
then
lived to cut me off. It's okay.
You were singing. Sorry,
I was
that's
singing.
not a final thought.
I was singing, and you decided to just. It's okay.
You know,
it's okay.
That's not a final thought. That's a final song.
So keep going. Do your thing.
No, I'm done. I mean, like I said, it was a perfect night. It was fun to drive over here for once and see a really good product on the field. It definitely makes it exciting. And let's just see what happens from here. We'll digest it, and we'll come back later this week and maybe give some other thoughts after we've had a chance to digest it. We'll jump in Arizona State, and let's see what the follow-up is.
Hakuna Matata.
What a wonderful day.
Day? You thought Hakuna Matata was a day?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I've watched The Lion King
Hakuna
straight
Matata
through
also
in my
isn't
life.
a day. It means no worries.
I know. He said it was a day.
No.
That
was
could
a
have been a
phrase.
trivia question for me. You could have given me an hour, and I wouldn't have even gotten that.
jeez.
Dang.
That's good. All right, Steven. Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
That's your final thought?
That's my final thought.
All right.
Wait, we never did our thing. We were supposed to say
MVP. We didn't do MVP.
No. Forget that.
Oh, okay.
We all know
All
who
right.
it is.
Yeah.
Wait,
We
Dylan.
talked about him for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Dylan.
A little rude to RJ and
oh.
Jacoby, but
All right, enough.
No.
or
yeah,
the
that
offensive
was-
line
Weren't we supposed to anyway? What was
and
it?
the defense.
Weren't we supposed to just come on here and for like an hour just say space game?
Oh,
we were supposed
in
to.
a million different
Space game.
ways.
My final thoughts. Space game.
Space game.
Space game.
Space game.
game.
Space game.
Space game.
Space game. That was what we honestly. This was a lot better. It would have been very comedic if we sat here for an hour and just said space game.
I wanted to say it in all the different languages around the world.
No, we were saying I wanted to do sign language. I thought that would have been cool. Every single language, do the Google Translate. That would have been cool.
Just gonna get the Spanish.
While you do that, I'll kind of give our little spiel. Thank you guys for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. This is probably the most fun Charge on Postgame live show we've had all year. Not really a high bar, but I will say the connection's been great for probably like 35, 40 minutes, so I'm like really happy. Got rained on. Laptop's still working strong. And God, it's taking you a while to get this Spanish.
It didn't pop up
okay.
already. All right, there you go.
What I will say is on the Charge on pregame show, or not pregame show, but our pregame pod, me and Nick kind of officially gave a lot of flack. We said, we're ready for Gus to be gone. Like, this is kind of getting out of hand. We finally jumped on the Gus bus leaving the station idea. And, I'm not going to backtrack over one game. That's not, I think there still needs to be a change. But what I will say is if this ends up being as strong of a finish as it could be, then the once again thought of one more year and let's see what happens kind of gets back into the conversation. He made the right moves this week. Should he have ever hired Ted Roof? No. Should he have ever called plays again? No. But it's not about what you do back then and in the past. It's what you do now. And as long as you kind of stick to your guns and not change everything again and give people opportunities to shine, that's when I think the best things come of it. So those are my final thoughts. UCF wins their space game 56-12. You play that thing.
Juego espacial.
Quezos especial. Quezos especial. You got
Did
something
you
up?
just say Quezos?
That's what I said, right?
Let's see if mine
Fuego.
plays here. Let's see if mine plays here.
Fuego means game.
Gioco spaziale.
Gioco especiale. Right?
Gioco spaziale.
Or like
Gioco
spaziale.
spaziale.
Gioco spaziale.
Is that Italian?
That's Italian.
Hey.
I'm
Oh,
Italian. so I
Italian for
would,
Dylan Rizk?
wait, me?
Is he Italian?
Is he not Italian?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
I'm
don't
not
know. I've
making
seen him go to
assumptions. I'm
Italy.
Italian, so
I've seen him in Italy a
Italian.
lot, and he always he posts like the Italian flag.
All right.
So I just it's a safe assumption.
But space game.
Space game,
All right.
Italian space game.
Couple things before we go.
Weltraumspiel.
Is that German?
That's the German one. Let's hear it one more time.
Weltraumspiel.
Weltraumspiel.
There's no way that word.
Weltraumspiel.
Y'all can't see the spelling on this, but there's no
Weltraumspiel.
way that is what.
You know,
Yeah,
Franz
no,
Wagner.
that makes sense.
Franz Wagner.
That's in honor of our guy Franz and Mo Wagner right there.
And Tristan
And I know there's a lot more
Tristan, there you
comments.
go.
Again, we're gonna get out of here.
and
but
Paul Rubel.
Alex says, I don't think Gus needs to be gone. We have a great recruiting class coming next year. Don't forget some of our players are not Big 12 players. There will be growing pains.
Well,
in the okay.
We
listen.
lost 5 recruits in
I
the
was going to
last
say,
month.
Steven,
We've
you
lost-
can answer that one better
We've
than we
lost
can.
a lot of
but-
recruits. Now,
But Javen Boggs, very good. Shaston Brown was
Shaston
here
Brown was
today.
here.
Very good. Caden Pining.
Caden Pining. He's a big human
yeah.
being.
Which one of you was like, who's that big human being? You said that to him and Shaston Brown.
They're really
Yeah.
big. They're really
So
big.
no. So ultimately, but here's also the positive, right? And I was with you, Alex. I said I was with you for a long. Me and Nick were with you for a long time. We said no, you can't fire him. Like give him some more time. We were with you. We kind of went off that. But if Gus can finish the season strong, kind of shore up the recruiting class for this year and really work on 2026 and give him one more year, then I agree. I don't think he should be fired. But it's where if they finish 4-8, if they lose the next 3, that's when you do have to probably make a change. But with that being said,
Make it to a bowl game,
make it to a bowl game.
and I will be like, Gus Malzahn should stay.
Good, yeah, exactly.
Extend Gus. Like I think there's a situation where I won't.
Hooligans, man.
I wouldn't
Hooligans.
be positive or negative in that conversation
Yeah.
if they made it to 5 wins. If they don't win any more games, I think there has to be a serious conversation.
If they go 0-3 here, I'm even going to say this. If they don't make a bowl game, then I will stick to my original assessment saying we probably need a change. If they make it to a bowl game, or if they somehow win
Like I said,
7 wins.
if they go 5 wins, I will just stick to the side. I won't have an opinion either way.
Yep.
I make it to a bowl game, and I'm
make it to a bowl game,
and I'm happy.
Yeah.
Momentum
For this year.
momentum going into next year.
But then if you do the same thing next year, fool me once,
Yeah,
shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, sayonara. We'll be playing party songs while you leave.
Yeah.
And with that, let's us say sayonara.
Sayonara.
Yeah,
Couple
we've
things.
been here for a while.
Next Saturday, this is just early because I want to let everybody know. Live watch along. Don't know the time. Don't know when it's happening. You gonna be on?
I will be there.
But I
Hopefully.
will.
Are you?
Maybe be there?
Oh.
Yeah, I don't want to actually guarantee that. I will maybe
Well,
be there.
you'll guarantee
Probably.
me for 4.5 hours of just straight talking and maybe disappointment because we've been used to it. But yeah, so live watch along UCF Arizona State won't be 10:30. We do know that.
I was
7:30
kind of hoping it would
Probably
be.
probably 7:30.
I wanted to do a late night charge on.
I was planning on going to Arizona State, and then it was like, oh, this is probably gonna be a 10:30
and it's like
game, like Eastern time, and I was
Yeah.
like, no thanks. Actually, never mind.
So you'll get me. You don't know if you'll get them because if we get them, then I have to do graphics. So you'll get me.
oh
and you'll
no,
find out
Sean
about
Sean
them.
has to do his job. Oh
Yeah.
no.
I know. Charge on post game
baby.
pod dropping tomorrow, 7 a.m. most likely, maybe earlier. I might just drop it whenever I get home and we record. He might be on. He might not be on. Who knows? But that's basically it.
Basketball Monday.
Yeah, basketball Monday. I'll be there. Stephen Leonard will be there. Nick
Basketball
Geddes will not
Tuesday?
be there. No.
Women's basketball.
No,
I'll be there.
You'll be there.
Yeah.
Well, I might be there on Monday. I've not got it approved yet, so we don't know if I'll be there. But okay, let's close it out. For Stephen Leonard, Nick Geddes, I'm Sean Green. The awkward walk to go close this thing out. It's going to be awkward, but it's going to happen. UCF wins the space game and stays undefeated in the space game, 56-12. What do you want to say?
You should lower, like down and like go under the camera.
I'm okay.
Like an
I'm gonna-
elevator?
I'll slowly walk to it though.
Okay.
Thank you guys for tuning on. Thank you again.
Yeah, we'll fill in the empty gap behind.
We will see you guys. And I gotta move these papers.
Oh.